before we start solving this differential equation, we have to rewrite it into standard form. So step 1, rewrite the equation in standard form. What I mean by standard form is you need to have it in this form. Dy over dx is equal to, plus p of x y is equals to q over x, right? So this is the standard form. Now what we have to do here is we can start by dividing both sides by x. So x dy over dx minus 2y is equals to x squared. If you divide both sides by x, then you'll end up with dy over dx minus 2 over xy is equal to x. All right, so step 1 done. What will be our step 2? Step 2 is to find p of x. So step 2, find p of x. Now p of x will be equal to negative 2 over x, this guy here. All right, this is p of x from the general form, that is p of x. All right, okay. Step 3, find the integrating factor. Now the integrating factor here is e to power the integral, and this is in your formula booklet, to power p of x, and p of x is negative 2 over x dx. All right, so what you have to do now is to find that integral. So you can say, but the integral of negative 2 over x dx will be equal to negative 2 integral 1 over x dx, which will be equal to negative 2 ln x, all right, plus c, and we ignore c. So we can say that the integrating factor will be equal to a to power negative 2 ln x, which will be equal to a to power ln x to power negative 2, which you can write as a to power ln 1 over x squared. All right, which is just 1 over x squared. So that will be our integrating factor. Step 3. Now for step 3, is that step 3 or step 4? Or step 4. All right. So step 4, we need to multiply both sides by the integrating factor. So multiply both sides of the equation by the integrating factor. So multiply both sides of the equation by the integrating factor. So what I'm going to end up with is 1 over x squared multiplied by dy over dx minus 2 over xy, which will be equal to 1 over x squared multiplied by x this simplifies to 1 over x squared dy over dx minus 2 over x cubed y, which will be equal to 1 over x. All right. Now, what we can do here is that was multiplying. All right. So, step 5, we can move to step 5, which will be integrate both sides. So we can integrate the left hand side. Oops. All right. I need to see the equation up top. All right, there. So integrate 1 over. So integrate 1 over x squared dy over dx minus 2 over x cubed y with respect to x, and that will be equal to the integral of 1 over x with respect to x. Now, here is where you're going to reverse the product rule. All right, so reverse the product rule. And another way to reverse the product rule is to just multiply the integrating factor multiplied by y. So the integrating factor multiplied by y will be, what was our integrating factor, by the way? 1 over x squared. So 1 over x squared multiplied by y. Maybe I can just write it here. Is equal to, this will be ln x plus c. Now, we don't know whether x is greater than 0. They haven't mentioned that in the question, so we'll write absolute value of x plus c. And we can simplify this equation as y will be equal to x squared multiplied by ln absolute value of x plus c, if that makes sense. All right, and that will be our general solution.